You're listening to the Spirit Podcast.
Happy birthday! It's your birthday!
Welcome to the Spirit. I'm Beck, and this is Pisces. Pisces, the 12th sign, but it is no ending. It is the water we return to when the striving stops, the womb of the cosmos, the hush between lifetimes. Where Aries says, I am, Pisces whispers, we were. It is the soft ache before memory, the place where dream and reality still dance cheek to cheek. Here, in this final constellation of the Zodiac, the boundaries that separate soul from source begin to fade. Pisces does not conquer, it dissolves. It asks not what you will build, but what you are willing to surrender. This is the sign of the dreamer, the mystic, the musician, the oracle, the empath, the priestess who has seen all the timelines collapse and still chooses to sing. Pisces is mist and music, rain and radiance. It is the smell of the sea just before sunrise and the sound of your name said in a voice from your dreams. You don't walk through Pisces. You remember how to float. Pisces carries gifts not learned but remembered. They arrive like whispers, like knowing without knowing why, like hands that feel the hurt beneath the smile, the soul beneath the skin. The Piscean spirit is not taught empathy. It was born woven into the tides of other hearts. This is a sign ruled by Neptune, the planet of dreams, illusion, intuition, and transcendence. And so, Pisces does not see the world as it is, but as it could be. Dripping in color, lit from within, threaded with unseen chords of meaning. Pisces speaks the language of symbolism. It dreams in archetypes. It hears the pain behind words and feels the joy still waiting in someone's silence. A Pisces heart is like a tuning fork for emotion. When they love, it is tidal. When they create, it is channeled. When they listen, it is as if the whole universe leans in. They often carry the rare ability to merge with music, art, poetry, animals, the sick, the old, the grieving, the mad, the holy, and they make no distinction. To Pisces, all are divine. Their strength is not in the armor they wear, but in the veils they are willing to lift. In a world that glorifies action, Pisces teaches the power of presence. In a world that demands logic, Pisces offers wisdom through wonder. They are the stargazers, the midwives of mystery, the healers who do not ask to be seen, the last dream before awakening. And in their presence, we remember what the soul sounds like when it sings. Every ocean has undertow. And Pisces, for all its light and transcendence, carries some of the deepest emotional shadows in the Zodiac, not because they are weak, because they feel everything. Pisces absorbs the sorrow in a room like water into cloth. They may cry without knowing why, ache for someone else's wound, or carry the mood of the world inside their ribcage, and if they don't learn how to release it, they drown in it. When overwhelmed, Pisces may turn to escapism, into fantasy, addiction, codependency, or martyrdom. The pain of the world becomes too much, and so they drift into anything that numbs. They may become the overgiver, the eternal savior, the one who sacrifices their own needs to keep the peace, to keep the love, to keep the illusion. And in doing so, they can lose themselves entirely. At times, Pisces may struggle with boundaries. They want to merge, to heal, to pour into others. But without anchor, they become the container for everyone else's pain while their own needs go unspoken. They may also fall prey to illusions of others, of love, of purpose. Neptune casts a beautiful haze, but sometimes the dream must dissolve so the truth can be seen. Pisces is not meant to harden, but they are meant to discern. To swim deeper doesn't mean to lose oneself. It means to learn how to carry light through the depths without forgetting your own shape. Pisces rules the feet, but it's not just about anatomy. It's about where we meet the world. The feet are our point of contact with the earth, and yet Pisces lives mostly in the clouds, in the stars, in the shimmer of invisible. And this tension between being here and not quite here is felt deeply in the Piscean body. Many Pisces have sensitive feet. Some need to walk barefoot on the earth to ground their energy. Others find shoes, socks, textures, everything touching them can either feel sacred or unbearable. This is no small thing. The feet are symbolic of spiritual grounding, of choosing to be here in this body, in this life. Pisces also rules the skin's permeability. Their aura is a sponge. Crowded rooms, loud noises, harsh lighting, these things can feel like slow drowning. The Piscean nervous system is a harp, strung tightly, tuned to frequencies others can't even hear. Sleep, too, becomes a portal. Many Pisces struggle with rest because their dreams are rarely passive. They journey, they work, they receive visions, warnings, guidance. A night's sleep can feel more exhausting than a day awake. Water holds memory, and Pisces is made of water. This is why they must soothe the vessel that carries them. Warm baths, salt soaks, gentle touch, quiet music, nature walks, even ritual foot care becomes spiritual hygiene for Pisces, anchoring them back into their body when they begin to drift. The Piscean body is not weak. It's wired for other realms. But it must be protected like a sacred shell, or else the world's pain seeps through the cracks. If every sign is a sacred path, Pisces is the dream keeper. This role goes beyond sleep. It's the custodian of the unseen realms. The dreamkeeper soul comes here carrying fragments of other lifetimes, stories half written in starlight, echoes of futures not yet born. They are often visionaries, poets, or seers, not because they chase fantasy, but because they remember the world is far more magical than we were taught to believe. To be born under Pisces, or with strong Piscean placements, is to carry the responsibility of remembering, of weaving beauty and meaning back into a world gone numb. Pisces doesn't just dream to escape, they dream to restore. The dream keepers often speaks in metaphor, paints with feelings, and lives in questions rather than conclusions. They're not here to dictate doctrine. They are here to remind us how to feel again. This soul role often awakens through loss, through grief, through moments when the veil thins and something larger speaks their name. From that point on, they know. They are not from here, but they came for here. To embody the dream keeper is to keep the lantern lit in a world of shadows. It is to hold space for the weary, to offer songs when there are no solutions, to listen when no one else will. Pisces teaches us that dreaming is not weakness, it is prophecy in silk. And every time they choose love in the face of despair, they hum the world one note closer to awakening. Pisces arrives in this world with eyes that already seem to remember something beyond the veil. As children, they often appear dreamy, imaginative, or even distracted. But it's not distraction. It's attunement to a frequency the world has forgotten. They may speak to unseen friends, draw pictures of things no one taught them, cry over beauty, worry about sadness in others. Early Pisces energy is wide open, and if not protected or understood, it can harden, fragment, or shut down. In adolescence and young adulthood, the pull to escape can intensify. These years often bring brushes with illusion, whether through toxic relationships, addiction, or spiritual bypassing. Pisces want something more, but they don't yet know how to find it without losing themselves. But as they mature, the dream sharpens into vision. They begin to learn discernment, that just because something is beautiful doesn't mean it's true. That just because they can feel someone's pain doesn't mean they are required to carry it. That saying no can be an act of sacred compassion. In the later phases of life, Pisces often blooms into wisdom keepers, artists, counselors, mystics. They stop chasing escape and start anchoring grace. They become walking bridges, able to sit with the suffering of others without being consumed. Their power doesn't come from control. It comes from surrender, from trust, from knowing that love is the most resilient current in the cosmos. The fully awakened Pisces becomes what they always were meant to be, a singer of forgotten songs, a lighthouse for the lost, a dream that teaches others how to wake. When Pisces shows up powerfully in someone's birth chart, whether as their sun, moon, rising, or through a cluster of planets, it speaks to a life steeped in sensitivity, intuition, and soul work. These are the old souls, the feelers, the dreamers who often can't explain how they know things, only that they do. A Pisces moon may dream of events before they happen. A Pisces Mercury might speak in metaphor, music, or riddles. A Pisces rising may carry a misty quality, a softness in the eyes that makes others feel both seen and safe. But make no mistake, having strong Pisces placement isn't all ethereal glow. It's a heavy spiritual contract. These individuals often struggle with boundaries between self and other, between truth and illusion, between here and there. They might be mistaken as naive or overly sensitive, when in fact, they're absorbing the emotional debris of everyone in the room. Pisces heavy charts often mark people who've come to complete soul loops, to dissolve what no longer is needed, to remind the world of what's worth saving. They are prone to spiritual awakenings, intense dreams, artistic genius, and periods of profound solitude. They need silence the way others need oxygen. Now, if you meet someone with a strong Pisces chart, know this. You're speaking with someone who was likely sent here not just to live a life, but to redeem one. They carry a fragment of the source itself. And that's not poetry, that's prophecy. Want more? Support the show on Ko-fi and unlock the Signal Path. Solo audio messages just for subscribers. Follow the podcast, leave a review if you're feeling it, and reach me at tothespiritpod@gmail.com. Every sign holds shadow as well as light, and Pisces knows this more intimately than most. When wounded, ungrounded, or overwhelmed by the weight of the world, Pisces can slip into its most elusive form, the escape artist. This is the version of Pisces that avoids reality, ghosts responsibilities, numbs pain with substance, fantasy or martyrdom. They drift into roles that aren't theirs, hoping to heal others while quietly bleeding themselves dry. Shadow Pisces may convince themselves that suffering is holy, that love means losing yourself, or that boundaries are betrayals. They can become addicted to sorrow, mistaking trauma bonding for divine connection. They may also fall prey to spiritual illusions, placing blind trust in gurus, ideologies, or cosmic truths that bypass the real work of healing. In this mode, Pisces becomes a shapeshifter for all the wrong reasons, losing their own reflection while mirroring everyone else's wounds. But even here, the path is not lost. Pisces must learn the sacred balance between sensitivity and sovereignty. That their gift is not feeling everything. It is knowing what to do with what they feel. That escape may offer temporary relief, but embodiment offers lasting peace. In facing their shadow, Pisces becomes even more powerful. They become a guide not because they never strayed, but because they returned. And in doing so, they discovered that the real dream isn't a place you run to. It's a life you build awake. Pisces isn't just personal energy. It's a collective pulse, a reminder that the soul of humanity doesn't live in statistics, progress, or logic alone. It lives in the stories we tell, the compassion we extend, and the mysteries we allow to exist without needing to dissect them. When Pisces rises in the collective through art, movements, or cultural waves, it brings a hunger for meaning. We see a surge in spiritual seeking, mystical revival, dreams that ripple across borders, and creative renaissances born from deep emotion. But we also see the shadow, mass disillusionment, viral delusions, spiritual grifters, and the exploitation of beauty or belief. In both its light and shadow, Pisces reminds us that humanity is not just doing, it's becoming. And when we forget the soul in favor of the system, Pisces energy rushes in to weep, to sing, and to rewrite the myth. Pisces is the collective grief that births poetry, the shared ache that calls us to remember who we are beneath the masks, the ocean that drowns our false certainty so we can finally float in truth. In a world cracking open, Pisces doesn't just patch the holes, it paints the sky with new dreams, stitched together by love and longing. Pisces is rich with ancient symbolism, each facet reflecting a truth about the soul's journey across time and tide. At the forefront, of course, are the two fish, swimming in opposite directions. One heads towards the heavens, the other dives into the deep. This is not confusion, it's sacred paradox. The fish are bound by an invisible thread, representing the tether between spirit and body, dream and duty, eternity and the present moment. They are the embodiment of duality made divine. And in their dance, Pisces learns that life is not about choosing one path, but mastering the art of swimming both. The element is water, but not just any water. Pisces is the ocean, the vast, mysterious, uncontainable sea that holds all things and forgets none. This isn't the river's rush or the Cancer's tide. It's the dreamtime womb, the final baptism. The ruling planet is Neptune, god of the deep, who governs illusions, dreams, higher art, and mysticism. But before Neptune, ancient astrologers placed Pisces under the rule of Jupiter, the planet of spiritual expansion and cosmic trust. Together, these rulers echo a potent truth. Pisces is here to dissolve the veils, but also to uplift the world through wisdom born of surrender. Its season, arriving as winter yields to spring, is liminal, a threshold month, and so Pisces governs doorways between life and death, endings and rebirths, waking and dreaming. This is why so many Pisces-ruled people carry that uncanny timing, the feeling that they were sent to midwife a moment, to say the unsaid, to witness something sacred before it disappears. Other symbols tied to Pisces include the mirror, for their ability to reflect back others' truths, the harp or violin for their resonance with music as a soul language, the veil for their role as seers and spirit bearers, the lantern under water, a glowing truth found only when we dive. If Pisces is your rising sign, the world first sees you as mirage, glimmering, changeable, hard to define, but impossible to ignore. There's something dreamy in your presence, a faraway look in your eye, even when you're fully here. Pisces rising souls are old, not necessarily in years, but in spirit. They seem to carry echoes of every life they've ever lived, and sometimes wear the sorrow of the world like a mist they can't quite shake. You may be artistic, deeply intuitive, or magnetically drawn to the unseen. People often project fantasies or confessions onto you. You feel familiar, like a dream they once had. This can be magical or exhausting. Pisces risings walk into a room and change its temperature. They pick up on moods without trying. Pisces risings weren't built to be hard. They were built to melt barriers, to remind others what it means to be tender and timeless. But there's a lesson, too. Boundaries are sacred. Without them, your ocean overflows. The journey of the Pisces rising is to learn how to swim through life without drowning in it. When you own your own empathic nature and stop trying to explain it, you become a light in the fog, a guide for the lost, and a reminder that the soul is real, even when the world forgets. To love a Pisces is to love a mystery, a melody, a myth. They don't love halfway, they merge. And when they love you, it feels like you've been remembered by something older than time itself. Pisces doesn't just see who you are now, they feel every version of you, even the ones you've hidden or forgotten. There's an otherworldly softness to Pisces in love. They give without counting, forgive without asking, and feel with you, not just for you. Their affection is like a tide, gentle, surrounding, persistent, but it can also disappear into mist when misunderstood. Because they are mirrors, they often fall for those in need of healing. And because they believe in the unseen, they may stay too long hoping love can save someone. This makes their love sacred, but also sacrificial. They crave soul union, not just partnership, telepathy, spiritual resonance, and dreams shared in silence. But for love to last, Pisces must remember, you cannot rescue someone from their own story. Your magic is meant to illuminate, not absorb. At their highest, Pisces in love becomes a sanctuary, a cosmic echo chamber where souls speak fluently without words. When they find someone who holds them in return, gently, truthfully, and with awe, they become transcendent. Together, the union is less about two people and more about becoming one timeless song. At the soul level, Pisces is the Dreamweaver, the one who gathers threads from across time, space, and spirit to spin meaning from mystery. These are the souls who speak in metaphor, paint with emotion, and translate the unspeakable into something you can feel. Pisces doesn't just create, they channel. They're born with one foot in the imaginal realm and one foot here, often unsure which direction they're supposed to walk. As Dreamweavers, they're meant to remind us of what the world has forgotten, that wonder is not weakness, and softness is not submission. They carry a map of the mythic world within them, and every once in a while, they open it for the rest of us to glimpse. Their medicine is intuition, empathy, dream logic. They don't just tap into the collective unconsciousness. They live there, tuning in like a radio to feelings unspoken and futures not yet formed. But with this power comes the need for discernment. Dreamweavers can lose themselves in others and illusions in the overwhelming ache of everything. Their path often involves learning where they end and where the world begins. And when they remember who they are, not just as people, but as portals, they become extraordinary anchors for the divine beauty. Poets, oracles, healers, artists, visionaries, those who re-enchant a world grown dry. They don't just walk a straight line, they spiral, they drift, they dissolve and reappear. And in doing so, they teach us that maybe the shortest path to the divine isn't a ladder, but a dream. Pisces carries a karmic inheritance that is both holy and heavy. They are the last sign of the Zodiac, the ancient soul of the wheel. With that comes a strange burden to feel everything. Past lives, ancestral echoes, collective sorrow, cosmic longing, and still remain whole. But often they don't. Instead, they escape. Pisces' shadow isn't malice, it's avoidance. And when the world feels too loud, too sharp, too unkind, they vanish into that fantasy, addiction, illusion, martyrdom, not out of weakness, but because the pain of embodiment is almost too much. They become shapeshifters, slipping into roles, moods, timelines to find comfort. They may lie, not to deceive, but to survive. They may people please, not to manipulate, but to preserve peace. They may numb, not to betray life, but to escape the unbearable edge of it. Their karma is to feel, but not to drown. To dream, but not to disappear. To love deeply, but not to lose themselves in the mirror of another's wounds. When Pisces faces their shadow, they stop trying to save everyone. They realize that their empathy is sacred and must be protected, that their softness is strength, not something to armor or offer indiscriminately. And when they claim this, The shadow becomes alchemy. Pisces no longer runs, they return. They become the healer who has been broken, the artist who has wandered the void, the mystic who has faced the abyss and returned bearing light. To those born under Pisces, and to those carrying its current in your soul, you were never meant to live only in the world as it is. You are here to remind us of the world as it once was and could be again. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is your compass. Your softness is not something to outgrow. It is the key. And your dreams? They are not just stories spun in sleep. They are messages from the deep self waiting to be sung into waking life. You are the space between the notes, the shimmer on the surface of still water, the sigh of soul when it hears its name for the first time. You carry the wisdom of surrender, the beauty of devotion, the ache of remembrance. The world will try to make you solid, to name you, to cage you, to mold you into something fixed. But you are not a shape. You are a current. You are not an answer. You are the echo that brings the question back home. The ocean remembers everything that has touched it, and so do you.
To the spirit.
Podcast.
Supernatural science.
Aliens. I'm ghost.
Psychic.
Mystic.
Spirits.
Divine source.
Heaven.
The dead.
It's magic.